A victory for Virginia. The Supreme Court says that the state can remove hundreds of suspected non-citizens from the voting rolls. The Justice Department sued, saying that the move was illegal because it's too close to Election Day and some voters might be wrongly removed. Let's bring in Virginia Attorney General Jason Miyares. General Miyares, good to have you with us. Thank you very much for joining us today. I want to just play a quick soundbite from Governor Youngkin, who was on a short time ago with his reaction to this ruling. Listen.
Speaker Johnson's advocacy for a national law to demonstrate that you are a citizen before you are allowed to vote is critical. And I do hope that America will extend our majority in the House, flip our Senate, and put Donald Trump back in the White House for lots of reasons, one of which is we need federal legislation to make it very clear on what it takes to register to vote in America.
So, General, can you explain to people who might be just learning about this story, who are these 1,600 people who are being removed from the voter rolls, and what opportunity do they have to fix it if it's a mistake?
I appreciate you having me on to explain. So these are individuals that have gone to DMV in Virginia. Our previous governor had extended driving privileges to non-citizens, and they've checked the box. They self-identified that they are not a citizen of the United States. And then when these individuals' names are submitted to the Department of Elections in Richmond, they will be looking and say, oh, my goodness, this person who is self-identified as a non-citizen is on our voting rolls. And they then communicate to them. They say, listen, we have a reason to believe that you're a non-citizen. You've self-identified. Please go to your voter registrar and correct this problem. If not, we're going to have to follow a law that, by the way, was passed in 2006 and signed by a Democratic governor, Tim Kaine, to remove non-citizens off our voter rolls. And that procedure has been in place. That was the question of these 1,500 plus names. And really the backup is you self-identify as a non-citizen. You check a box. Let's say hypothetically, maybe you check the wrong box. We then notify you, the Department of Election does. And then finally in Virginia, we have same-day voter registration. So even if you inadvertently was removed, you actually have the ability of voting that day on Election Day and casting a provisional ballot. So there's multiple safeguards. This was never a purge. This was a case-by-case basis. But it really goes to show you something the governor just mentioned, referenced the SAFE Act. This was a piece of legislation Speaker Johnson advocated for, and the left and the Democrats that opposed it said we don't need this legislation because each state has their individual tools available in their respective state to ensure non-citizen voting. Now, in this case, this is a tool, again, signed by a Democratic governor, Tim Kaine, that we actually were utilizing. Previous governors has it well, and then we get sued by the Department of Justice. The same people who said we didn't need the SAFE Act, the states can handle this. Now we're basically trying to tell a state, don't follow your own law.
All right, so let's go through the scenario. First of all, the Justice Department, this is their response to today's SCOTUS ruling. The department brought this suit to ensure that every eligible American citizen can vote in our elections. We disagree with the Supreme Court's order. So let's say that I'm one of the 1,600 people that got kicked off the voter rolls, and I show up to vote in Virginia. What happens to me, and what is my recourse to prove that I'm a legitimate citizen? Or if I'm not, am I going to be able to vote?
You can register literally that day. We have same-day voting registration. You could sign an affidavit as well saying that you are indeed a U.S. citizen.
But I don't have to show any ID or prove that I'm a U.S. citizen. I just have to sign an affidavit that says that I am?
No, you could produce a identification that says who you are. Usually it's your driver's license. The same thing you would do normally when you register to vote. So we have multiple backups for these individuals that inadvertently, again, they clicked the wrong box. We understand that could happen. We've tried to communicate. And listen, the fail-safe has always been same-day voter registration. You're an individual, you click the wrong box, you decide not to open your mail from the Department of Elections, you could do same-day voting registration. Because listen, the right to vote is precious. I have distinct memories of going with my mother who'd fled Cuba. The first chance she got to vote for president, she was in her late 30s, and what pride she has. So I understand that is a precious, precious thing that so many people have fought and died for. We're going to protect that, but it should be two standards: easy to vote, hard to cheat. That's the standard we have in Virginia. That's why this is a brilliant winning for not just upholding the rule of law, but I just say common sense. that this idea that Virginia citizens should be deciding Virginia elections really isn't controversial. I think Gallup had a poll, 83+% of Americans think only citizens should be voting on an election. That's actually the law. It is a felony if you are a non-citizen voting in a U.S. election.
Yeah. Citizens get to vote in the election, and that is what this rule says. I don't know of any countries where you can vote if you're not a citizen of the country, but I know it's true in this one. Attorney General Miyares, thank you, from Virginia. We're going to be watching Virginia very closely, about 6 points apart, so it has tightened since the last election, so we'll see what happens on election night. Sir, thank you. Great to see you.
I'm Steve Doocy.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.